children, I hope you all are good. So once again I am here with another topic of geography, that is disaster management. And these days we need to understand the different type of the natural disaster and how they are going to be managed. So in this chapter we are going to discuss different disaster and then their management. So let's start the chapter. A sudden disturbance that adversely affect the earth, the plants or animal is called disasters. For example, we are having the earthquake, floods, storms. They are all of a sudden they came in the environment, in the atmosphere, which affect the whole human life or plants or animals. These all are the disasters. They harm greatly to the life, to the money, to the wealth, to the health, to the economy. The man has learned to face many problems coming in his midway, but he is helpless before this. There are certain areas which we have been exposed to more than one disaster, and these kind of the places are known as multi-hazard zones, where not only one kind of disaster but the different disasters come one after another. And beta disasters can be categorized into the two categories. One is a natural disaster and another is a man-made disaster. Disaster can take place because of the certain natural process or because of imbalance in the nature. If by nature they are coming from the nature side, that is known as natural disaster. For example, earthquake, storms, etc. These are the natural disaster, and you can say the natural calamity. These are widespread, unpredictable, which cause a great harm to the human life, animal, plants and on this earth. Because of some mistake done by human beings like accident, building, collapse, dam burst. So such types of disaster also occur in the society, that is known as man-made disaster, and that is due to the negligence of the man. This is not by the human being. This is not by the nature, this is by the human being, and that's why it is known as man-made disaster. Intensely, or you can see the intensity of disaster determine the quantum of damage caused by them. You know, beta, 70% of total area of our country is drought prone area, and 55% is vulnerable to earthquake, 12% area is flood area, 8% area is regularly suffered from the cyclone. So nature causes great destruction, because an earthquake may cause big damage or destruction to the man or animals, or cyclones, floods, etc. These all are the natural disasters which may cause the great loss. Now we may take following steps in order to avoid the disaster. Infrastructure we need to make, that is strengthened. Strong infrastructure. Human beings should be aware about all these disasters, and some better policy must be initiated at the national level and international level to save us from the disaster. So number one, we are going to discuss about the first natural disaster is earthquake. A sudden trembling or sudden vibration in the earth crust is called earthquake. So sudden trembling or vibration. The place from where an earthquake begins, from the origination point of the earthquake, is known as hypocenter. However, it originates in its crust. Okay, the crust है, from there it originates, but place just above the hypocenter, where the intensity of earthquake is maximum. From here it is started, and the maximum intensity was there. So this is known as epicenter, just above the hypocenter. Millions of earthquakes happen every year, but as their intensity remain very low, we are unable to even feel them. But sometimes they are so much powerful that they causes the great harm to the society. Specifically when earthquakes happen at night, there is much more destruction, because none get opportunity to escape from the buildings or from the areas. It damages lots of property and the loss of life. Now, earthquake also led to some other hazards like landslides, floods, tsunami, etc. You can see in the map These are the zones given according to the which are going to be suffer from the earthquake regularly. These are the zones in India. The frequency of earthquake we measured on the Richter scale. Its intensity is measured by modified Mercel scales, and it is divided into 4 categories, which indicate the intensity of the earthquake. These are class 1 to 3, then 4 to 6, and after that 7 to 10 and 11 to 12. The 4th category, where we have mentioned 11 to 12th category, causes the total devastation, the highest intensity earthquake, in which all objects are thrown upward into the air. An earthquake is so sudden and so violent, sometimes it is neither to be predictable or nor prevented. We cannot predict that today the earthquake is going to be happen, so please move out from the house. No, it is unpredictable. But scientists are trying to find some ways to predict the earthquake. Richter scale hit the Bhuj town in Gujarat state on 26 January 2001. Here are some major earthquake area. You can see the earthquake occur हुआ था यहाँ पर, और सबसे ज़्यादा आपका 26 जनवरी 2000 भुज जो है, this was the devastating earthquake. Now reasons for occurrence of earthquake. What was the reason? The uppermost layer of the earth crust is made up of tectonic plates. There are many tectonic plates beta, but upper crust जो है, that is also made up of tectonic plates which are interlocked with each other, and these interlocked or rocks keep on floating on semi-liquid rock called mantle. Okay, there are the movement, regular movement in the tectonic plates. They are small movement, and these movement are like that. Sometimes the plates are moving away from each other, so that is the divergent movement. Sometimes the plates are moving in front of each other, attracting to each other, that is the convergent movement. And sometimes the plates are moving upward and downward like that. So this is known as transforming movement of the tectonic plates. So these tectonic plates move with the passage of time. Now these mantles, sometimes these plates collide due to the pressure on them causing fault, and this collision create the vibration around the earth, because see like this and this collide, fault आ गया, and this cause the vibration around the earth, causing the earthquake of varying degree of the magnitude. So to measure the frequency of earthquake, scientists use the seismograph. The seismograph is invented by Charles Richter in 1935. It is used to measure the energy released during an earthquake. Seismograph is having his range from 0 to 9. That is the range of earthquake, 0 to 9. Earthquake also result in the formation of shore areas, bays, gulf, block mountain, rift valley, hot spring. Because of them also the earthquake arise. Those earthquakes, they are unpredictable and we cannot stop them, but we can take some measures, some precaution to escape from it. And you must know beta, when I am talking about 0 to know that seismograph scale, so if it is reached up to 4 to 5, 6, 7, this is the great devastation for the society. This is the highest range. If we are moving the Richter scale, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, it can be manageable, but after 4, 5, 6, it is the great energy released by earthquake and great devastation on the earth. Now what steps we have to take to prevent, to take the precaution to prevent from the earthquake? Move on any open place like a playground quickly. When you feel some vibration, move out. Never stand under the fan or in front of the mirror or any glass or any window. We should not use lift. If you are living in the flat, don't use lift during the earthquake. Try to protect the head and eyes like that. If you are in the school, go down the decks and protect your head. Keep your bags here and like this. Protect your eyes. Get out from your car immediately, and we should apply the proper technology also. Now, while constructing any building, any school or any home, make sure that you are using the proper technology, proper material, the best material to strengthen the building. By keeping the above precaution in the mind, we can decrease the effect of an earthquake. Now, moving to the cyclone. Cyclone occur in the hot ocean of the temperate and tropical latitude when the low pressure, see, low pressure, when the area is blank there, when the low pressure is developed there too due to the warm sea temperature and high humidity and atmospheric instability. So whenever there is a low pressure occur na beta, then see, low pressure occur, then there is a chance of cyclone. In the northern hemisphere, cyclone winds blow clockwise, or while in the southern hemisphere, anti-clockwise. You can see, if you are, you know the globe, so here in the northern hemispheres, तो cyclone है, that is like that. जो आपका clock चलता है ना, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 clockwise, और in southern hemisphere anti-clockwise, like this. So here clockwise and here anti-clockwise, reverse order में, southern hemisphere में. Cyclones are of two types. Number one, tropical cyclone, and another is the temperate cyclone. Tropical cyclones are intense storms which occurs in the warm ocean because of the low pressure in between the 5 degree to 20 degree latitudes in the north and the south equator. There are different names given to these tropical cyclones, like hurricanes in Caribbean, typhoons in China, and willy-willies in the Australia, and the cyclones in the Indian Ocean area. So they are having the different names. Strong winds are found 15 to 20 kilometer from the center of the cyclone. You can see in the picture, this is the center. Now you see like this. So this is the 15, from the center 15 to 20 kilometer away, the wind started to blow, cyclonic winds, and speed is exceeding 100 km per hour. When clouds gather around the center, it is called eye of cyclone. यहाँ cloud जो है gather होते जा रहे हैं ना total इस हवा के आसपास, so that is known as eye of the cyclone. Cyclones are very powerful and causes the great damage and harm to the life and property also. The whole eastern coastal region of India is cyclone prone area. This area, this is the eastern coastal area. From Bay of Bengal you can see na here, this one. So this is the cyclone prone area, especially from the Bay of Bengal. Apart from this, most affected states जो है, that is you can say the Gujarat also, Maharashtra, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, they are having the. Then the सबसे ज़्यादा affected, that is Odisha and West Bengal. The seasonal highest frequency of tropical cyclones occurs in Bay of Bengal in the summer season when the low pressure occurred here, and they occur due to the differential heating and area of the thermal origin. The speed of the cyclonic wind here is very fast, but it reduces gradually due to the friction with the earth and less moisture in the atmosphere. So increase तो ये होता है fast pace पे, but gradually slow down हो जाता है. The edge of the eye is called the wall of the eye, having a radius of 20 to 30 kilometer area, and the cyclone cover the whole troposphere closest to the earth's surface. Whenever the cyclone came, because you have heard about the layers of the atmosphere, you must have read in the previous classes, troposphere, then stratosphere, then आपका thermosphere, mesosphere, etc. So troposphere almost covered by the tropical cyclone. Super cyclone occurred on 29th October 1999 at 10:30 a.m. and that devastated the large portion of Odisha state. About 13 million people were affected from this cyclone. Large number of livestock were killed at that time. the most devastated storm. Then moving to the temperate cyclone, they are generally land based, emerging from the polar region, from the pole, and occur in the mid latitude of the temperate region. In India, especially in the peninsular region, tropical cyclones are common, not the temperate cyclone, but yes, we are affecting from the tropical cyclones. Now moving to the tornadoes or twisters are the funnels of violently spiraling winds beneath the thunder cloud. Tornado roar past in just a few years, few minutes, and they can cause severe damage. In a minute, they affect the most of the area. Wind speed inside the tornado are difficult to measure, but they are believed to be 400 km per hour. You can see the picture. This is the cloud, and you can see this cloud and their here. So in between, the wind speed is around 400 km per hour. We cannot easily measure that. And tornado develop beneath the huge thunder cloud. ये पूरा thunder cloud है, and beneath that this tornado is developing. And then called the supercells, which develop along the cold fronts. England has the more tornadoes per square kilometer than any other country, but they are usually mild. Not so much strong, mild होते हैं. That's why England face this tornado. Cyclones occur due to the some reason which are deforestation, removal of forest along the coastal area by the paddy cultivators. Coastal area से forest cover को when we remove, then it can cause the cyclone. Effects of cyclone: loss of property है, life है, damage of building है, loss of vegetation है, effects of telecommunications है. The Indian Meteorological Department tracks the cyclones with the help of INSET satellite we are having. From there we can track this, and 10 cyclone radars we are having, which warns the people about the upcoming cyclones. So messages are given through the TV, radio, etc. that cyclones are coming, please vacate the area. So precautions before cyclones: always listen to the weather forecast. Don't go into sea every time. If there is the forecast that cyclones can become, don't go inside the sea. Don't open the door or window. Keep the extra stock of food material with you. Wear warm clothes and keep first aid box always ready at the home. Precaution after cyclone: don't go into the flood water. Be careful with the reptiles. There can be the snakes or crocodile also. Be careful of fallen electric poles. Electricity से भी we are having the damage. Check the cooking gas cylinders. So this precaution you have to take after the cyclone. Moving to the tsunami, it's a Japanese word, tsunami, which means extremely large waves in the sea caused by earthquake beneath the ocean. Means in ocean also there can be the earthquake. There can be the volcano eruption. So when in the ocean bed there is an earthquake, na, so because of that the sea waves rise like a wall, and that is called tsunami. In tsunami, one side land of the fault is line suddenly lift or sink, making the water above it either rise or fall. It develops high point or low point in the waters. Tsunami spread very quickly. It will not give you the time. A newborn tsunami cannot be observed by the airplanes or even by the observer in a ship, because the surface of sea generally rises or falls few inches. See? So tsunami which occurred in December 26, 2004 in India, it was very powerful. It is so much powerful, having a magnitude of 9 on Richter scale. 9 is the devastated earthquake in the ocean, and because of that the ocean waves rise like a wall. The worst affected region of the coastal area: Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Pondicherry, Andaman Nicobar Island, and it caused a great destruction at that time in India, and many neighboring countries also affected from this. Now after tsunami, moving to the floods. Any river or stream has holding capacity of water of its own, which is called the channel capacity. Every river, every water body is having the capacity to hold the water, that is channel capacity. If that increased, whenever the water is more from this channel capacity, so it will overflow and causes the flood. So this is the condition what we call the flood. Now canals are built to take out the water, which we call inundation canal. Okay? Means we can make the canals to take out the excess water from that particular river or particular water bodies. That is inundation canal. India faces this problem every year. India is a land of river. About 1/8 of India's total area is the flood prone area, and about 75% of area lies in the northern plain, Bihar, West Bengal, Assam, UP, Haryana, Punjab, etc. So flood occur occasionally when rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna change their courses, and even in Brahmaputra in rainy season, Assam faces the flood. So the danger caused by flood to life and property is called the flood hazard. What are the causes of flood? Landslide can be there, cyclones, deforestation, strong tides or storms in the sea, and when the river overflow. Channels having less discharge capacity, acid channels where we can hold the less water, but they are getting the more water, because of that overflow is there. Then narrowness of the river. So Central Water Commission established the first forecasting station in 1985 at Old Railway Bridge, Delhi. Now there are 300 stations over 66 river basin to give the information about the flood. What the precaution we have to take during the flood? We need to keep our first aid box ready. Then we have to keep sufficient amount of the food material with us. Always use the boiled water to drink. Switch off the electric appliances and move on the higher places. Be careful to the snake bites, because water snakes are in the great amount during the flood. Then don't go into the flood water. Use rice water or drink unripe coconut water during the diarrhea. Use bleaching powder to make the area clean. Use halogens to purify the water. And what are the effects of flood now? Loss of life and property, whether it's a cattle also. Spread of many diseases like diarrhea, cholera, etc. after the flood. Loss of crops, submerge of villages, etc. So flood affects adversely both the urban or the rural area, but it affects more harmful in the rural area where the crop are ready. Mud or kacha houses are totally destroyed during the flood. So that is the great problem. Now moving to the drought. That is a condition when area does not get the rain for a longer time and the cracks develop in the soil to get the aeration. Means the longer time they are not getting enough water. There are some places which experiences the dry weather as a routine, but such condition cannot termed as a drought. Drought prone area generally get rainfall less than 75 centimeter. And in India about 200 districts severely, you can say 200 districts, that is the 70% of the total area under cultivation, are drought prone region. And India has faced many droughts since long, 1877, 1899, 1918, and another drought occurred in 1987. Drought affect most of the people living in the village. You can see the soil. See, cracks have been developed. So it's a long process, and from the long time the rainfall is not happened in a particular area. So these areas are Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Central Maharashtra, etc., part of Andhra Pradesh. There are many districts who are suffered from drought prone area, and that is very serious, because the land which can be used for the cultivation to increase the crop production, it develops like that. So drought is a long period when there is too little rain. It is not a short time warning. Then deserts suffer from permanent drought, and many tropical places have a seasonal drought also. Droughts are often accompanied by the high temperature which increase the water loss through the evaporation. So between 1931 to 1938, drought reduced the Great Plains of USA to a dust bowl. Means USA also converted into the dust bowl because of the drought, as the soil dried there and turned into the dust. So drought came again in this plain in 1950 to 54. So what are the causes of drought? Lack of monsoon, rainfall is very less, and then global warming, deforestation, soil erosion, and decreasing level of groundwater. That is also the cause. Effects of drought: shortage of crops because the crop production will not there, nutritional diseases among poor children and women, scarcity of water, and migration of people from one area to drought prone area to the another area. What prevention we can do? We have to do afforestation, more and more plantation, conservation of water resources through dams, preventing the misuse of water. Save water please. Drought resistant crop can be raised in the drought prone area. Rainwater harvesting is essential, and watershed programs or drip irrigation should start it to stop the drought. Now moving to the another disaster, that is the volcanic eruption. Or volcano is an opening in the earth crust. You can see opening this, okay. So opening in the earth crust, out of which the hot liquid rocks come down as a magma reaches to the earth's surface. When this magma is out of the opening and come down, it is known as lava. When it is here, it is magma, or when it is here settle down, it is lava. So magma tries to find its way towards the surface through the cracks and gaps in the rocks. This caused the volcanic eruption. The nature of lava flow through the vent and determine the amount of water and silica under the earth. So in this way, like the mountain like there, and there is a mouth, and the heat, that magma comes out and settled as a lava. Here also you can see this is volcano, and from here the magma is coming out and then settle down as a lava. Now on the basis of landform, volcanoes are classified into the three categories: shield volcanoes, and then central-cone volcanoes, and composite volcanoes. Shield, these volcanoes are formed by the quiet eruption of basalt lava, very low silica content, example Mauna Loa, means here the silica is very low. Then cinder cone volcanoes, they have silica rich magma, means whatever the magma coming out, it is having the lots of silica, and they produce steep sided cinder cone, इस तरीके से, not slope, steep sided. Then composite volcanoes produce a series of both quiet and violent eruption. क्वाइट इरप्शन भी हो रहा है और वायलेंट इरप्शन भी होता है इसमें, दैट इज द कंपोजिट वोल्केनोस. कंपोनेंट ऑफ वोल्केनिक इरप्शन: ड्यूरिंग एनी वोल्केनिक इरप्शन some material come out from the volcano's mouth. These are lava, gases, vapor, ashes, fragmental materials, small or big pieces of rocks, etc. Some gases are so highly volatile that they making the lava flow burst like a bomb, and the great noise came. According to the periodicity of eruption, volcanoes are classified. How means what are the time period of there? So that is the active volcano. The active volcano constantly pump out volcanic materials. India is also having the one active volcano in the Andaman Nicobar Island, that is the Barren Island volcano. Then active के बाद we are having the dormant volcano. This interval between the eruption of these volcanoes is very long, about 100 to 500 years ago, like Vesuvius volcano. Means there is a gap from last 100 to 500 years, they are not erupted. They can be, but right now they are not erupted from long time. So this is the example of this is Vesuvius volcano. Then extinct volcano, this volcano does not show any sign of eruption from the long and declared permanently dead. They are not going to be erupt. So that is the, for example, Devil's Tower in Wyoming. You can see this. So extinct हो चुके हैं. Now landslide and avalanches. When weathered rocks and soil falls on the mid or steep slope, we call it landslide. This you can see steep slope से. So this is landslide. Similarly, when a large piece of ice mixed with the rock debris and come down with a great force, it is called avalanches. Means if only rock and soil fell down at a steep slope, then a landslide. But if the ice, large piece of ice also mixed with them, then that is known as avalanches. Causes: gravity, earthquake and deforestation. For these landslide and avalanches, what precaution? Afforestation, stay away from the spot, and slope development measures should be undertaken. Now, there is one knowledge fact has been given to you in 1985. A deadliest record of landslide was occurred in America, Colombia, killing over 25,000 people. Landslide, and when it occurred, it caused snow melt to pile up and destroyed the whole town. So these were the natural disaster. Now moving to the hazard, a dangerous condition or event, natural or man-made, that could cause injury, loss of life, damage to property or damage to environment, is known as hazard. Natural happenings such as earthquake, volcanic eruption, cyclones, we have discussed, they are the natural hazards. And natural hazard may be classified into the geographical and weather associated hazard also. The earthquake, volcanic eruption and landslides are the geographical hazard, but the cyclone, drought and flood are associated with the weather hazard. But if there is a terrorist attack, fire, traffic, industrial accident, war, civil strife, riots, then they are the man-made hazards. A hazard may or may not result in the disaster. If the people of flood-prone area are not prepared to face it, so that can be the natural disaster. It will wash away many houses and cause the lots of damage. But if the people are prepared that the floods are coming, they are evacuating the place proper, they are having the food supply for the another few days, and they are taking the proper precaution, then this hazard will not convert into the disasters. Means if we are ready and we are prepared, so we can lower down the result of the disaster. Now, moving to the epidemic. Epidemic means the outburst of some disease at a particular time in a particular area, and these diseases are usually caused due to the unhygienic condition. For example, in Gujarat 1995 there was a havoc epidemic of plague. So that is means at a large scale when some diseases has spread among the people. Then nuclear disaster is one of the worst thing man has done. Nuclear disaster in the form of nuclear bomb cause a great harm to the world. Japan has faced this nuclear disaster during the Second World War when two of its states, that is Hiroshima and Nagasaki, completely destroyed in the nuclear attack. That is the worst condition. So about 1,05,000 people were killed at that time. Even then, countries are in the race of becoming the nuclear power. I don't know why. They knew the result and still everyone is making the nuclear weapon, one after another country. Effect caused by the nuclear weapon. The vast destruction caused by use of nuclear weapon result in three things: thermal radiation, blast and nuclear radiation, which cannot be good for the human survival and another survival also. Prevention or protective measures, what we can take. Radiation can be reduced 3 centimeter of steel, 9 centimeter of concrete and 14 centimeter of earth. Means when you are going to use this, then some radiation can be reduced. Iodine tablets take before the falling of fallout cloud prevent radioactive iodine from being absorbed by the thyroid. Means we have to take the iodine tablets if we are going to announce that nuclear weapons or nuclear attack is going to be there. To establish a large shelter to accommodate at least 100 people and also have the capacity to reduce the radiation. The government need to make such a shelter house to protect against heat and blast. Sometimes you must have heard, if there is a nuclear weapon used in any country, they have to go to the underground, like we are having the metro, underground metro in Connaught Place. So in this in such types of the area we can move out to save us from the large radiation. Now biological weapons are the substances which are released in air and inhaled and kill the people. That is the biological weapons. When we are using some virus and we release the germs in the atmosphere, that is the biological substance which work on the same. These are method for the mass destruction. Many people can be killed at the same time, and we have faced it in the previous year, that is COVID-19, when this was the biological weapon, the COVID, which have devastated the whole world. Chemical disaster, these types of disaster are result of misuse of chemicals, and these chemicals are very difficult to be detected as they are very colorless and odorless, pata hi nahi chalta, and also they are easily available in the market. So the antisocial animal, they are using the chemical weapons or doing the chemical disaster. Chemical disaster sometimes happen suddenly without one's intention. One of the chemical disaster happened in the Bhopal, that is Bhopal gas tragedy. It causes burning and redness in the eyes and nostrils. We can protect ourselves against these types of disaster when we should keep any wet cloth on our mouth and then breathe. We should not hurry or panic and run when there is a gas leakage. No. Small, gradually crawling on the ground, because on the ground you will get the air but not on the upper portion. So don't run at that time. Then don't touch any electrical switches. To prevent such chemical disaster, government should also take some steps. Industrial units should be aparted from the residential colony. Industrial area should separate from residence. Municipal corporation should do survey of these units regular in due times. There must be an emergency plan in order to deal with any type of industrial accident. Various types of drugs and masks must be available in the market to overcome these effect of the chemical disaster every time. So this Bhopal gas tragedy case has been given to you, which was happened on December 3, 1984. In this disaster, over 45 tons of highly poisonous gas, 45 tons of methyl. This gas has released along with the hydrogen, carbamide and other reaction product leaked out from the pesticide factory of the Union Carbide into the air of Bhopal around 12:30 am. Official death toll reached to the 3,598, and more than 3 lakh people who survived had to face worse than death. Such disaster may take some time, minutes or hours, may be sudden without any warning, depending upon the nature of the accident. So this shows that industrial area should separate from the residential area, and it should be regular check whether any chemical are not releasing from that area, industries. Now moving to the wars. Wars also cause the mass destruction, property, human life, etc. World War I we have faced, World War II we have faced. In World War I, 10 million people were killed, and in Second World, that is more terrible than the First World War, it killed 17 million people. Means kitne aram se we are talking about that so many people were killed. Hiroshima and Nagasaki was completely destroyed in the Second World War. Then after that, accidental disasters are also there, which is due to the carelessness of the human being. Sometimes machinery failure is also there behind the accident. So accidental disaster may include the rail accident, road accident, air accident, etc. This disaster also cause a heavy loss of life and property. You may heard so many times the news about the road and railway accident, you can see in the picture. So we need to take following precaution, follow the traffic rules to avoid any accident. Information to the police or fire station immediately to have a less damage. Cooperate, we must cooperate with each other and the government agency as well as during the accidental disaster also. So what are the impact of disaster? That is the clear impact: death, injury to people, animal population, and also the destruction of the property at a large scale. These are the direct impact. Communication, power supply, water supply, drainage, etc. they are cut off. That is also a impact of disaster. Healthcare, hospitals are also put under the severe stress. Even under normal circumstances, the transport, the power line, and ambulance, hospital and other utilities are also maximum stretched and taking further load. That become very difficult. These are the indirect impact. So there are so many impact of disaster. This is applicable even in the man-made disaster also. चाहे riots हो, चाहे कुछ affected for long time till the normalcy to return. Means directly तो whatever affected, but indirectly our brain, our body, our thought, our society, our economy, that take lots of time, long time to recover from it. Recent initiative, the government of India has set up high powered committee on the disaster management in August 1999 under the leadership of Mr. J.C. Pant. He was the former secretary of the government of India, and he along with other members had very detailed discussion and consultation with the NGOs also and the state government, district collector, accommodation policy maker, etc. And the mandate of high powered committee was to look into the existing disaster management system in the country and what they can improve. In that, the high power committee consisted 5 subcommittees, namely number 1, water and climate related disaster, who are going to check, and the second is geological related disaster committee hai, chemical, industrial and nuclear related committee hai, they are going to check nuclear accidents etc. And then 4th, accident related disaster, and then आपका biological related disasters hai. So these are the different subcommittees who were established to lower down the result of the disaster. In these groups, all the minister, department of government of India, NGOs, experts and training institutions were also included. Now, need for collective effort. Science and technology has progressed today. So what we have to do? Better equipment to handle the disaster we are having. We need to understand the coordination also. The disaster governance has become very important these days. This is a great agenda where management is not only a national issue, but disaster management is the international issue. So we need to cooperate with each other. Collective efforts can lower down the disaster and its result. Conclusion of the chapter: when the tropical climate and unstable landforms coupled with the high population density, poverty, literacy and lack of adequate infrastructure, India is one of the most vulnerable developing country to suffer. Very often various natural disasters which cause a devastating impact of human life. Though it is almost possible to fully recoup the damage caused by disaster. So it is possible to minimize the potential risk by developing early warning strategy. We have developed this. We are going to warn the people about the disaster. Then preparing and implementing developmental plan, mobilizing the resources including the communication, medical services etc. we are providing to the everywhere to help the rehabilitation and the post-disaster reconstruction. That is also necessary. If someone has lost something, we need to resettle them, rehabilitate them. So in efficient mitigation of disaster-based technology, they are playing the major important role. India has developed an operational mechanism for disaster warning, especially cyclone, with the constellation of both INSAT and IRS. Series of satellite has been established so that we can get the information. However, as far as the prediction of certain events like earthquake, volcanic eruption and flood is concerned, it is still experimental level, but yes, we can reduce the impact of these disasters with the proper disaster management. So let's discuss the important point of the chapter. Disaster means the sudden disruption that adversely affect the every life. Areas have been exposed to more than one disaster. They are called the multi-hazard areas. Natural disasters occur due to the natural process or natural imbalance. Hypocenter is the place where an earthquake originates. Frequency of an earthquake is measured by the seismograph. A fracture on the earth crust followed by displacement from the one side is the fracture called fault. Large sea waves that caused by earthquake convert into the tsunami. Then flood hazard that caused due to the flood in the desert that disastrous to the life and property. Volcano, it is an opening in the earth crust that we have discussed. Fold mountains are created due to the earthquakes, and water holding capacity of any river is known as the channel capacity. Hurricanes are very powerful, whirling tropical storms. So that's end for the chapter. I hope you understand each and every topic. Please do the exercise carefully.